Susie, can you hear okay? No?
Oh, yeah, I missed that. All right. Thank you, Karen, for explaining those bills and bringing those to the legislative session this session. So there's a cross file on this strangulation bill. So basically, what that's going to do is instead of billing insurance when a victim of non-fatal strangulation goes to the hospital will have to provide the service free of charge, and then the hospital or medical provider can seek reimbursement from the CICB. So it frees up a huge amount of access, I think, for a lot of our victims. And I'm sure Callie and people can talk about this. Is there's often well, I don't want to go to the hospital because of the expense. And when you're talking about non-fatal strangulation, certainly if you're underinsured, $2,000 maybe. Callie, you can speak to that better than I can, or Anne, for the imaging.
Yeah, it would be close to $2,000 to $3,000. And then one of the other big things we see is just like the safety issue of that. If a bill were sent to home where perpetrator lives, that kind of thing.
So that would be another benefit of a bill like this. It would be similar to, it's actually in the same statute as we have the for rape victims now. So rape victims are not directly billed, and we're trying to open that up for victims of non-fatal strangulation. So that is one bill that both Senator Folden and Delegate Simpson are taking on this session. So I'll be there testifying on behalf of that, on behalf of MSAA. Then the other one that Delegate Simpson was talking about, marital communications privilege. So it's very archaic. We're one of the only states that doesn't have an exception for when a crime is committed against a spouse. So we have two types of privilege, and we're not all attorneys here, but there's a testimonial privilege and there's, a normal privilege. So if you're assaulted by your husband in the state of Maryland, you don't have to testify, or wife, you don't have to testify the first time it happens. If it were to happen a second time, the state can compel your testimony. But what the victims have been told they cannot do by an offending spouse is they cannot testify to marital communication. So, for example, there's a case that's been the law in Maryland for decades at this point, and it is, Delegate Simpson, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that there has been a little bit of rumblings in Annapolis, just because when we went around and we're talking to specifically like the women's caucus, some folks are under the impression, didn't we already do that? But it was, I believe, this law has not been changed since, what did we see? I think Elizabeth, wasn't it what, 73? Has not been touched since 1973. But they did change the part, I think it was in 106 is the other section that is about compelling the testimony, that they changed a little piece. So just an FYI, there are some folks out there that are a little confused. This bill, I mean, I looked it up, this law has not been changed since 1973.
Yeah, we have a case law that's really bad. And they basically said, and it was a 1994 rape case where a husband raped his wife. And one of the main pieces of evidence that the state wanted to get in was wife was always willing to testify, but the husband had apologized. So there was a confession that the victim testified to. And because the marital communications privilege essentially says that the marriage is something that is sacred, is protected, and anything that a spouse says to the other spouse, no one can compel, or the spouse who wants to say that is actually incompetent to divulge that information on the stand. So the husband was able, under the statute that we have currently, and we still have, tell wife, you cannot testify that I confessed to raping you. And the court agreed with that. So that's the small piece that we're trying to fix for if there is a crime against a spouse, being taking away the communication privilege being held by both parties. If the party who is the victim of the crime wants to testify as to something that's extremely relevant, that is a marital communication, they should be allowed to do that. And that's what that law would fix. Does anyone have questions about what that means? Yeah, it wouldn't change what we have for testimony in Maryland. It probably makes more sense to, Karen and people who are in the legal field, but that's what that law would do. Any questions for Delegate Simpson before she gets back to her amazing work? All right. Thank you, Delegate Simpson. I'm going to go over
Thank you.
to other bills.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Bye. Thank you so much for coming. All right. Our other ones are, there is a statute of limitations currently for misdemeanors. That's 1 year. And for sextortion, stalking, and revenge porn, that type of crime usually requires a significant law enforcement investigation. You're talking about, search warrants, court orders, looking into somebody's phone. Those types of things are what we're typically looking for to prove that type of offense. And currently that offense, those 3 offenses are subject to a 1 year statute of limitations. So from a law enforcement perspective or a prosecutor's perspective, it's like, we don't have time to investigate those types of crimes if we have to charge within a year. So that is what this particular law is trying to, or this bill is trying to change. So instead of being a 1 year statute of limitations, there would not be a statute of limitations on those specific types of crimes. So that's House Bill 544, and that has been cross-filed as well in the Senate. Anyone have questions on what that would seek to do? All right. And we've got marital communication, stalking. What was the last one? Oh, the other one was, for second degree assault. So we have a concept called forfeiture by wrongdoing. So that essentially means, under the hearsay rules, if you have engaged in wrongdoing that keeps the witness from testifying against you. So let's say you've threatened your victim, you say they cannot come to court or you're going to hurt them. Not only could that be witness intimidation, but currently the law only provides that that person's statement could come in against you if you're charged with a felony. Most domestic assaults, as we know, are second degree assaults. So that particular bill is targeting allowing that type of testimony in. If you're engaging in wrongdoing, you forfeited your right to cross-examine that victim or that witness that you're telling them to come, or you're engaging in other type of wrongdoing. Currently, if there's a felony charge, their testimony against you comes in. The statements that you're trying to keep out would come in. So that's seeking to increase that same statute to include second degree assault rather than just limit it to a felony. Does anyone have questions about that or concerns? Like I said, I think it will be a short meeting. So we do have opportunity for public comment. Is public comment working?
Public input is not working.
Yeah. What should we do? You said it's not working.
No, it's not connecting to the website. So.
Okay. Well, we're supposed to be having public comment. Like Kim sent out an email, WebEx is no longer going to be supported by the county. I'm not sure if it's phasing out or what's happening, but it's not working really great right now either. I'm going to talk about, okay. So I know we all want to go virtual. Nancy would like us to talk about the February 7th meeting. I was probably going to cancel it unless everyone wants to come in person. I know Kim sent out a doodle poll, but does anyone have thoughts on that?
I'd like to do it in person, but obviously I'll defer to the group decision.
What the doodle poll says, that's fine with me too. We'd have to go to Winchester.
Even potentially here at the LEC if needed. I could see if the space is available. It's a pretty big room.
Yeah, Brett, you can have the meeting wherever you want. it doesn't have to be at Winchester Hall. That's just where we have the room set up for you guys.
What should we do, Nancy, since the public input's not working?
Well, I can see public input and nobody is called into the number, so I don't think you have to worry about that there's somebody waiting to talk.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's okay.
Okay, so let's take votes if everyone's prepared on the bills. Let's go one by one. So the extension of the statute of limitations for sexual extortion, commonly known as sextortion, stalking, and revenge porn. And the voting members voting yes or no on that. I'll go with Jay. Yes. Karen.
Yes.
Let's see here. Maggie.
Yup.
Shelly. All right. And Scott. Thumbs up. Okay. And Anne. Anne.
Forwarded to an automatic.
I'm trying to get in touch with. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wait.
Anne said yes.
Sorry. I think that's all the voting members that we have
Yes.
on. I know, Deb, you're not a voting member, but I really appreciate you coming. You have any thoughts on that from a law enforcement perspective? Definitely probably a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. 100% a good thing.
Definitely. So, okay, that one's a yes from us, and I'll write up these letters of support. We'll do our testimony via letter. CICB, victims of non-fatal strangulation. This is the pass-through to the CICB, and the hospital would have to provide care free of charge. Bills wouldn't go to husbands or perpetrators. Jay? Thumbs up. Karen?
Yes.
Yes. Shelley? Yes. Maggie?
Yes.
We got Anne.
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
All right. Any comments on that? Deb?
If that gets passed, that's going to be huge. So
Rhea or Callie? Yep, totally.
lots of hopes on that one.
Lots of hopes on that one. Any questions on marital communications privilege? Let's do our vote on that. Jay? Cool. Karen?
Yes.
Shelley? Thumbs up. Thank you. Maggie? Love it. Anne?
Yes.
And Scott? Thumbs up. All right. Any thoughts on that from anyone else? Okay. And then forfeiture by wrongdoing for second degree assault specifically. Jay? Yes. Karen?
Yeah.
Shelley? Thumbs up. Maggie?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Anne?
Yes.
And Scott?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Love it. All right. Any thoughts, Maria, Callie, or Deb?
I'm good.
I don't think I have anything else. I will draft up these letters on behalf of the DVCC, sign them, and I'm sure they'll get read by the powers that be. So, anything else anyone has to bring to the group today?
Were you going to share like the dates of it if people wanted to go to the testimonies?
Yeah, I can share the dates. Right now, we have marital communications. I think on this, I wrote it down. Some of these don't have dates yet. When I find them, I will reach out, or when they get set. Okay, so the non-fatal strangulation is this Thursday in the Senate. Because that bill has come up before, there can only be 2 people who testify live on it. We have a survivor here in Frederick who I believe is going to be one of them. But anybody can put in written testimony. So the day before, what you would do if you wanted to do it as an individual or as an agency, so Sheriff's Office, Hartley House, FPD, whatever, sign up the day before for a written testimony, write a page or so why you support the bill, and put it in. I'll put it in on behalf of the DVCC. For the non-fatal strangulation bill in the House, they don't have a limit as to how many people can sign up for oral testimony. So that is the 6th, February 6th at 1 p.m. in the House. I'll be there and testify on behalf of the MSAA. I'll put in the written testimony on behalf of the DVCC. And the other one that we have so far is marital communications. And I believe that is set on the 8th in the House with Delegate Simpson in the afternoon at 1 in the House. So the day before any of those bills is when you have to put in the written testimony on behalf of your agency or sign up to testify live. Anybody have any questions on that?
Yeah, are you guys able to share where they go to sign up, or, you know, I'm doing this for everybody else, of course, not me.
Yeah, I can send that
I
out.
don't need it. Huh?
I can send that out to the group. You have to create
Yes.
create a like password and a username on the MyMGA page. But yeah, I'll send that information out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Brett.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you mind staying on just for a minute after everyone gets off? I have a couple questions. Being a new member, I just want to ask you just a couple quick questions.
Sure, we can. I'll probably go offline with you, Anne. Why don't you just call me and we can talk about it.
Even better.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they wanted to bring to the group?
Well, Susie, just FYI, Susie Boyce-Clear had to sign off, I guess, because she was having connection issues. But she emailed me that she's yes to everything. So if that helps.
That definitely does help. All right. Thank you all for coming on this short notice for this emergency meeting. I'll get all those letters in. Thank you all for everything that you do. And I'll see you maybe on the 7th in person or not. We'll see what the poll says. And was there any public comment or input, Nancy?
No, there's not.
Thank you so much. Sorry, it was kind of a mess with the WebEx. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.